Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I feel like I should preface this video by telling you if you hear any slurred words, it's because I'm still under the influence of Novocaine. I can't feel the bottom of my face, and lest you get the wrong impression, it's Novocaine, not booze. So let's get started with what we came here to talk about, and that is I will be planting up my tomato cuttings. So at least I can still smile. But I noticed these are looking very terrible. Let me give you a close-up of some of this foliage. So these have been in water for about 2 months, guys. And these are actually the winners. The loser cuttings died right away, and I realized that these are cherry tomatoes, and they're also the suckers. And when you take tomato cuttings, they always tell you to take the suckers. And if you're new to gardening, the tomato has kind of a crotch, and that's where the suckers grow out. So yes, tomatoes have crotches. You heard it here first if you're not already an experienced gardener. So let's go ahead and give this some soil. Water does not have a lot of nutrients in itself, and initially I did try to put a little bit of a fertilizer pellet into the water, but I think that's a little bit too strong. So I think at this point, these beautiful roots, these in particular, I wish I had marked which ones these are, have done really well. They have this nice tangle of roots. Isn't that beautiful, guys? So I really think it's time that we introduce some nutrients to these lovely little cuttings. Like I said, these are the winners, so I have to try to perpetuate these and keep them alive until next spring, and I can plant them out after the danger of frost. So for me, this is a total experiment, and we'll see if it may not be the right time of year to take cuttings, but I'm hoping I can give you, oh, that was a hard word to say. I'm hoping that I can give you some good updates between now and then. And wouldn't it be exciting if in 6 months we go out and pick some tomatoes from these? So obviously you can grow lots of nice little tomato plants with seeds, and as usual I'll probably grow 100 and give it to all my friends. But I just thought this was a nice way to preserve the tomatoes that you really like in your garden. And last year I found out that to buy a tomato in a store cost $8, which was about double what it was the year before. So that adds up if you want lots of tomato plants around. So let's get started. I'll show you what I have here to work on this project. And I have some Osmocote, and I like to use a lot of natural fertilizers, make my own, compost in place, all of that, but I do always have this on hand, and I think it's particularly good when you're planting cuttings or starting seeds. And the reason I like it is it's a slow release fertilizer. So I've had good luck with this, and I do also use it on my house plants. And I have these are all saved from annuals that I bought this year, and I just rinsed them out with hot water. I didn't get too ridiculous with bleaching and sterilizing and any of that. If these sad looking tomato plants don't make it, I don't think it's gonna be because I didn't sterilize my pots. So I'm kind of a haphazard gardener. I'll just take the easiest route and use what I have. So those always come in handy, and I always save way too many of those. And I am using Miracle Grow potting mix just because that was what was at the grocery store, and I've had good luck with it in the past. Now it does say it has fertilizer, but it could be a very little handful in order to qualify for that advertising. But tomatoes are heavy feeders, so I'm just gonna sprinkle a little extra of this in each pot as I plant them up. And let's get started. We'll start with the best looking ones, and I did pick this stack of pots because it is fairly deep, and I thought, well, that should house the roots. And you know, when we plant these, and well, I hope to plant these in the spring, I will sink the tomato further down in the hole. But I think overall, if you had to pick some pots for a tomato, a deep one is best. So I'm just using a kitchen utensil. I always use my kitchen utensils, guys. Do you do that too? Let me know down in the comments if, you know, what you go to your kitchen drawer and take out kitchen utensils for your dirt scooping. Oh, let me just get the plant in here first. I think it would be best, I just put a little bit of dirt in the bottom. And let's take one of these cuttings. And again, I'm pretty certain that only my cherry tomato suckers have survived. None of the actual stem cuttings I took seem to have that same inclination to grow. Now, there is going to be a little bit at the top here, but this is okay. This is just a temporary measure for a couple months. I could even tilt it if I want. A little bit of this root will be out of the top. That part will dry and the plant will rely on all of the roots that are below the soil. So I'm not going to worry about that and go search my greenhouse for a bigger pot. This is going to be just fine, and it's certainly an improvement over a jar of water. So let's go ahead and fill that in. And I think that plant is going to be a lot happier. Now, the other thing is, with the situation of it being planted a little high, you definitely wouldn't want to make a fresh cut, because if you make a fresh cut and introduce it right down into the soil, you do risk bacteria getting into that stem. So I'm going to need to vacuum my whole kitchen table. This isn't actually usually where I do things, but I wanted to be able to share the experience. And I think this is going to be a lot better. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the Osmocote before I finish adding in the dirt. Okay, just a little bit, if you can see there, just a tad, and that will break down between now and the spring and feed the plant. So I'm pressing it in firmly. Plants will dry out if you leave air pockets. That just provides an opportunity around the roots to dry out. So I've got my first one done, and already I feel a little less guilty about how terrible this plant looks. I'm giving it its best chance. And then let me go ahead and get the others planted up. I'm going to do the same thing. Just put a little bit of dirt at the bottom and put that. Look at these roots, guys. These are fantastic. I think it really responded well to the water propagation technique. So I've known about taking cuttings for a long time and rooting them in water, but this really is the first time that I've done it myself. And like I said, this might not be the best time of year to do it, but I'm going to give it a go. All right, I think we have enough in there. I'm going to introduce that Osmocote again. And add the finishing soil in here. And I'll just go ahead and pop the rest of these up. And I'll show you when I'm all finished. I'm feeling a lot less guilt about this. Do you feel guilt about your plants when they start to look poorly? I think it's a big responsibility to take care of plants, these little living organisms. So I'll come back and show you when all of this is planted up, and we can all feel a lot better about it. What kind of a person would I be if I continued to let this poor thing live in a jar of water? I am actually surprised at how many cuttings were in those couple of little glasses and jars. Look at this, guys. I think they look better already. I was losing sleep at night worried about these poor cuttings. So look at this, guys. I even was short one pot, so I did put a couple of the smaller cuttings together. And I did add a little bit more Osmocote Plus on top. Like I said, tomatoes really do need a lot of food. I don't want them to put on a lot of growth during the winter, but at the same time, I want them to have enough so that they thrive and last into the spring when I can plant them outside where they belong. So this has been a fun little project. It was pretty quick and easy, and I have to say they look so much better. Look at that, guys. I have 8 little tomato plants. Oh, 9 because I've doubled up. And hopefully next year I'll have some tomatoes. So let me know if any of you do this over the winter and have had some success. I have heard that some people have done this and then taken cuttings from them in the spring. So let me know if you do this, if you've had any success, and I'll be sure to keep you updated. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.